You're watching The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler at your mom's house.
Welcome back to The HoneyDew, y'all. Doing it over here from Studio Jeans at your mom's house. I'm Ryan Sickler. You can find me on all social media at ryansickler.com. Well, that's my website. Social media is Ryan Sickler. Make sure you're out there getting the new album. I appreciate all of you who have. You guys have given me some great reviews. I love you. Coming out to see a lot of you. Phoenix, I was just there. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting. It's great to see all of you as always. I love it. Later this month, April 26th and 27th, I'm in Vegas at the Vegas Festival. May 16th through 18th, Edmonton. And then June dates with T-Nuts, Tommy Buns over there. Richmond, Maryland, Atlantic City, Tulsa, Wichita, and Kansas City. And then Minnesota, August 1st through the 3rd. I'll be at the House of Comedy. And again, I just want to say thank you to all of you right now supporting this show. I know it's brand new, but I appreciate all the love, the emails, the messages. I know it means a lot to a lot of you. And if you want to help the show, download the episode, subscribe, get over to Your Mom's House YouTube page. You'll see The HoneyDew. You'll see that. You'll see Your Mom's House. You'll see Dr. Drew. And merch. You guys asked for merch, so go snatch it up. You got shirts, hoodies, and stickers right now. We'll have more stuff coming. And as always, any of this information I'm giving you available on my website, ryansickler.com, and the honeydewpodcast.com. You can email me at honeydewpodcast@gmail, on social media, on Facebook, The HoneyDew Podcast, Twitter's The HoneyDew Pod. And for all you Crab Feast fans, we are still in the process of getting the episodes up on their own feed. I know some are missing and everything. It's all going to be there. It's all going to be there. You just have to resubscribe, download, and you'll be good to go. As far as this show, if you're new to this show, what we do here, we laugh in the face of darkness, all right? We look for that light. We have some fun with the not-so-fun times, with the stories behind the storytellers. And this storyteller, you all know her very well from just next door over at your mom's house. Ladies and gentlemen, the main mommy, please welcome Christina P.
Oh, thank you for having
me. Thanks for being here.
I'm so happy that you're in Studio Jeans.
This is your house, girl. I'm just I'm out back.
This is our house.
I like that. That feels good.
Yeah.
My mom never said that to me. Your mom ever say that to you?
Are you kidding me? What a nightmare.
Oh, you are perfect for this show.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like, I talked about my childhood pretty extensively on That's Deep Bro, this podcast I used to do.
I know it.
Yeah, you know it. And I feel like the way I think my childhood is like God was like, hey guys, you want to see how comedians are made? Like, let me put this woman and this guy together and then like watch it go. It was fucking crazy.
And incubate this little fucking tiny fucked up thing that's going to make you laugh.
Yeah.
It's like a Tasmanian devil, like zzz, laugh, zzz, laugh. Zzz.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Well, before we get into it, because you and I have talked off mic already about our strategy for this episode, which I love. Will you please just plug, promote, whatever you like?
Okay. Christina P online for any live dates. Tempe Improv May 10th and 11th. Flappers Comedy Club here in Spurnbank, California. That's Burbank.
I follow all your Minneapolis tits and all that, but I have yet to hear Spurnbank. That one's new on me.
Oh, yeah. May 31st through June 1st, I'll be here in Spurnbank. And then June 20th through 22nd, Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Improv. Catch me outside on the gram at the Christina P. I'm on it now, guys, and on Twitter.
What do you mean you're on it? You've been on it.
I've been on the gram, but now I'm into Twitter. I fucking hated Twitter because it's like a garbage dump.
It's a dumpster fire. It is. It's a dumpster fire.
And I just find that the less I give a shit about Twitter, the more fun I have. Like if I don't take it personally. Are you into Twitter?
I tweet, but it's the same way with golf. I've golfed. I don't golf. Yeah. I tweet. I'm not great at Twitter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not great at it.
No.
Just trying.
There's so many things today that it's like comedians gone. You know, you have to be able to do stand-up, podcast, Twitter, Instagram.
All this shit.
Everything.
Writer, director, producer, choreographer,
all this
break
shit.
dancer.
Had to learn WordPress at one point. Like I don't want to know themes.
I just want to tell shit jokes to strangers.
Yes, the people that don't know me.
I know, bro. So.
Do you have anything else you'd like to plug?
Nah, I'm plugging my butt. That's it.
Are you sitting on it right now?
You know why? I'm just so glad to be here speaking with you. I don't even give a shit about plugs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you.
I just love you, and the show is so valuable, and I'm so happy that you're doing it, because so many people need to hear that the people they like have been through some shit.
Oh, they're fucked up people, yeah.
Yeah, or just that you can overcome your fucked up past. You don't have to be defined by who gave birth to you and who raised you.
Yeah, the people that brought you here do not define you.
No, but they feel like, it feels like they do. And it can ruin your life, and it has ruined several people's lives. You look at people addicted to drugs, addicted to whatever the fuck, because they're still living in the grips of their family drama. Well,
that's one of the things I was always most impressed with you about too, and it was very much like myself was.
Very impressive.
You're very impressive. You went through all this bullshit, and you're not addicted to drugs. You're not, and you could have been a statistic. You could have been, and that was the other thing too for me always was like, I did have the positive influence. I had my dad for 16 years, which overrode all the bullshit. When it comes to the negative, I mean, not the, what it fucking did to me, but the negative. And
you mean you had your father was a positive influence to kind of outweigh the mom stuff.
And everyone else was. My grandmothers, her sisters, all were too. But they were positive examples of the type of person to be. But even though they were positive examples, that didn't erase the shit that had happened and the trauma that was created by my mom. Is what I'm saying. But
never will. Really.
But also I respected them and cared about them so much that I didn't want to be. I knew I could do whatever I wanted. And the people would have been like, oh, well, his dad died when he was 16. He's been on his own. Like it would have been, it's okay because, or we'll look the other way because. And I just didn't want to be that fucking person, ever. I just, like why be that person? So when I met you, and I've known you for, God, a long time. I was thinking about this last night. I don't know if I knew you before you and Tom knew each other. Oof. But it's close.
Around the same time.
Certainly before you guys were in any way even considering seeing one another.
No, I met you, I'm pretty sure, around the same time Tommy, you and I all met.
I met Tom the first time. This is my memory of it. I could be wrong. This is the earliest I go back. Was Bar One, which was this club right on Sunset on the line where it goes from West Hollywood to Beverly Hills.
I know exactly which bar this is.
And that's when I was doing stand-up, and when I walked into the green room, which was the lobby,
I remember that.
Tom goes, oh my God, I thought you were black. That is my first recollection ever. I didn't know his name or anything. Yeah, nothing. That's what I walked out to.
Yeah.
And it had to be right around then that I met you, because you used to do that room where the Stray Cat drummer owned the joint.
The Cat Club.
Cat Club, which was a great, interesting room.
That was fun. That was Saturday nights. I think a 10 o'clock show. It was a bringer show. Yeah, and that's where you were, and Tommy, and this crazy guy, Matt Crass. Remember him?
I do remember him now, yeah.
Yeah. That was the beginning.
And then you had Tangier, which today is still one of my favorites. That was favorite rooms.
Fun room. And I loved booking you and Tom because you guys were so funny so quickly, both of you. And I just enjoyed you two. You're BFFs from the beginning.
Yeah.
So cute.
And now look. So can we go back?
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so let's start
at the beginning with you.
All right,
because you're a Valley girl originally, born and raised, right?
No, so I was
not Valley.
No, I wasn't born. I was actually born in Canada, Windsor, Ontario.
How do I not know that?
Really?
I don't know that.
Proud Windsor native, across from Detroit. My parents escaped from communist Hungary in 1969. A lot of people don't know this, but in Hungary at that time, the Russians had annexed most of Central and Eastern Europe. So the Russians basically fucked up all those countries. It was called the Iron Curtain, and they would just take all the money and the resources and funnel it to Russia. It was a fucking dog shit life. My parents had severely traumatic
I've seen
upbringings.
Rocky IV.
You see that? That's exactly it. That's exactly
Y'all had like a bowl and a spoon and like a bear hat, and that was it. Yeah.
What a nightmare. I used to hear stories. Oh, for Christmas, I had an orange, and I was very happy for the orange. I had chicken once a year. You have chicken every day. Like, I hear these stories. And then, the neighbors, they would tell children to rat out their parents to the KGB if you spoke against the government. There was no free speech. There was no freedom of religion. It was really oppressive. And my parents grew up very poor and very just fucked. You know, both my parents had one of their parents die when they were children, and then they were left in poverty, and just like whatever horrible shit, that's what happened. Anyway, so my parents decide, fuck this country, Hungary, in 1969, and they escape like at the age of 20. Okay. So they escaped through Yugoslavia at first. They got put in a prison there. And then they get out and they find a guy who they pay.
Why were they put in prison?
So
they got caught leaving?
They got caught leaving Hungary. So Hungary and Yugoslavia, they border each other. And my parents got on a train one day, packed their bags, just took a handful of papers. You know, you need your papers to cross the border. And they got on a train to Yugoslavia. First stop in Yugoslavia, they check them, they look at them, they're like, oh, you guys are Hungarians. Where's your papers? What, your papers? No papers? Great, you're in jail. And he goes, but I'm going to let you out, I think, if you go back to Hungary right away. So he says, so my dad lies to him and goes, yeah, we'll get off. We'll go back to Hungary. Of course, gets off at the first train exit and goes right back through Yugoslavia again. They find a guy who can get them to Italy. They pay somebody, and after a few days, they go to Italy, and they're then in a camp in Italy for, I think, a camp, like a refugee camp for like a year and a half. And then my parents were like 20 and 21.
Living in tents?
Yeah.
For a year and a half?
Yeah.
Damn.
And the Americans came and they asked my father stuff.
Where the fuck's my canteen? Somebody stole my canteen. It's got my name on it.
Right. Can you imagine?
No.
I know.
I can't. It's probably
nightmare.
cold as fuck.
Cold as fuck and just scary. And they don't speak Italian. My dad learned, my mother and my father learned a little bit of Italian along the way. And the U.S. government knew that they were from, you know, the Iron Curtain. And they...
How?
Because there's, you know,
Are they
spies.
trying to become... Oh, really?
Yeah, so we want to come to the U.S.
Right.
That's the goal. And the U.S. is like, okay, well, give us information, because my dad was in the military in Hungary. And they showed him pictures of bases. And he goes, is this where show us where everything is kept? And my dad would give them information about what the Russians were doing.
This is Detroit. Detroit? Yeah.
Yeah. So then the Catholic Church ends up sponsoring my parents. They fly to Canada because the U.S. tells my father.
That's never gone bad for anyone.
No.
The Catholic Church supporting it. Yeah. That's good.
I'm so thankful. But anyway, they said to my dad, you can come in to the U.S., but you have to go to Vietnam. My dad was like, fuck that. I just came from a war zone.
Oh, they wanted him to enlist? That was the only way to get in?
And that was the deal. If you survive Vietnam, you could come to the U.S.
Jesus.
I know. And he was like, fuck that.
What about just dropping them right in Detroit?
Same shit, right?
I mean, if you survive Detroit, you should be allowed to stay.
Especially in the 70s or 69 when they came over, or 70. So they land in Detroit. And my dad's stoked because he can buy a hot dog and a can of Coke for $5. He can't believe it. He loves the cars. He saw a black person for the first time, and that's like the greatest moment of his life. He saw like a guy with a big feather. He said he saw a pimp, and he didn't know it was a pimp.
First black person ever is a pimp.
Yeah. And he just loved America, and so did my mother. And because they listened to free radio, was it BBC Free Radio in Hungary? And they liked the Beatles, and they also liked American stuff. Anyway, Canada, I'm born there. We moved to the U.S. in 1980. My parents split, and shit gets wacky. So my mom, okay, basically,
how old are you?
4 years old.
You're 4 when they split.
Yeah, and my dad wants to come to California because he comes to visit a few times, and he likes the hot chicks and he likes the beaches, and he wants to be like that dude, you know.
I can only imagine that coming from where they came from to get here and then hear like the Beach Boys songs and all that shit, and you're just like, this is where I should have been. I can go do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want. There's a guy over there with a feather in his hat. Right. Fuck yeah.
Well, but forget this whole wife and kid thing.
Right.
Yeah. Which is the problem. So
it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. So my parents split and at 4, and my dad proceeds to bang his way through the San Fernando Valley. I'm talking, looks into the top laughing. It was pussy all day long.
Wait.
Like,
how do you know? Is he bringing them around
you? How do I know? Yeah, because he rented these houses, and here I am at the time. I'm starting to get awareness of this at like 7, right? And there's just like bitches all the time, different bitches, and like they're naked a lot. They're skinny dip. Oh, fucking.
You're seeing this?
Of course, yeah. And like drinking.
Where's my Cabbage Patch? Just looking for my preemie. Dad?
Right. It was so weird. And I'll never forget this. My dad was just very proud of his body. He is a good looking European guy. And he goes, let's take a Christmas picture. I go, okay, yeah. So I got my Cabbage Patch Kid. Funny you mentioned. I had a preemie. Yeah. And he goes, let's take a Christmas photograph. We send it back to Hungary. I said, okay, good. So he takes his shirt off and he stands in front of the fireplace. And I'm like this rat,
But his
I'm like
jeans and everything. There's just a shirtless picture.
Shirtless with a sweatpants.
Fucking Putin, like Putin.
Yeah. Oh my God, I spoke to him. Yes, and he's wearing like Adidas sweatpants, like this track shit on the bottom, shirtless with like a gold necklace, of course. And I'm like on my preemie, and it's in front of the fireplace. And I remember as
It's
a
just the 2 of you?
just the two of us. And I remember at the time
Please
being
say
like,
you have that picture.
I'll find it for you. I gotta find it.
Please find that picture.
But I had an awareness, like, this is wacky. Like, why is he taking his shirt off? And then he sent it out to everybody in the family, like, Merry Christmas. Like, it was a weird, like, shit like that. And he drank a lot. My dad was an alcoholic. So there was that. And then my mother.
So wait, all right.
Yeah,
so
go ahead. It's a lot. We gotta.
You leave
How much
Detroit.
time do we have?
Your dad leaves Detroit.
We all get in a van.
All of you. Your mom does
in
too.
1980.
Okay, so you come to California
Right.
together. He
Right.
doesn't leave you guys back there and then you come out.
Correct.
All right.
We all get in a van and
So we've
literally
gone
drive.
from fucking Hungary to Yugoslavia to Italy to Detroit to Canada where you're born, back to Detroit. Now we're going the
We're
fuck our way through
California.
the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, we're here in LA, and I moved to LA when I'm 4 years old in 1980.
All right, so you're all here. The three of you are here.
Yes.
And then they split.
They split
at
straight
4,
away.
Right away.
4 years old. Yeah.
So as soon as they got here, he's like, I'm out.
Brutal. And the first memory I have, which is fucking crazy, is my dad sitting me on in the kitchen, sitting me down and telling me he's leaving. It's the first memory I have.
He actually did that?
Yeah.
Do you remember how? You're 4. I mean,
I'm
I
4.
started remembering things at 4 too. Little things, not like that.
Yeah. Like what's your first memory?
Like swimming. I remember going swimming and things like that. I also, you and I have talked about it. I reconnected with my mom, and when she came to visit, I mentally walked her through every floor plan of every house we've ever lived in. And the one we lived in Texas for a short time, I was 4. And I walked her through the whole. I can remember that.
I can remember shit like
vividly,
that. Yeah,
like that. And she's like, "Oh my God, yeah." I was like, "I remember we had McDonald's curtains. I didn't even know McDonald's made curtains back in the bed sheets too.
Fuck
my
McDonald's.
mom might have fucking did
Fuck
that.
McDonald's.
I'm actually getting a set behind me. It's McDonald's
Double bird, McDonald's, double bird.
But yeah, I remember a lot of that. Learning how to climb trees in Texas. That's where I learned how to climb trees. I remember that. Stuff like that.
Texas. Why were you in Texas?
My dad got transferred from, he worked at the airport. He got transferred from Baltimore to Houston. And we lived there for less than a year.
My dad worked at the airport.
He was the crew chief for Pan Am.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Oh my gosh.
So we were there not long, close to a year, not quite a year. And then back to Maryland forever.
Right, because that's where I know you're from. Is Maryland. That's
Yeah,
your
it was a little jaunt in Texas. I got that scar right there.
from Texas.
Yeah, that's what
Fuck Texas.
That's my star at a Lone Star State. I love Texas.
Okay.
You don't like Texas?
What part?
Houston.
Houston? Yeah, that's cool. I'm down. I'm down with Tejas. But listen, I'm strictly LA, bro. A18. Just like Brody Stevens.
Yeah.
I grew up here. This is my home.
All right, so
Okay.
Are you now splitting time between mom and dad, or are you with dad?
Jesus fuck. So back in the day.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he said to you? I know you remember he did that, but do you remember the
No.
things he said?
No,
Okay.
no. He did tell me, he said, I'm going to come back and watch cartoons with you, because that was my big deal. I would watch, I liked, Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny. And he said, I'm going to come back. No, Dr. Seuss. Sorry, Cat in the Hat. I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch cartoons with you in the evenings. So, he'd come once a week and we'd watch Cat in the Hat or something. I remember that. But that's when shit got real weird with my mom. So this is the first time my mother is abandoned, essentially. She's had a horrible childhood, right? Her mother dies when she is 12. So she's been given up for adoption. She has an alcoholic dad. The guy, it's a fucking shit show. So mom gets real weird when dad leaves. And that's when the fucking shit starts. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, what?
But is she dating also?
Not
Does
at the
she
time.
bring men in like he's
No.
bringing women in?
Negative. No, so my mom was really just spiraling over a divorce. And then we move into the apartment complex that Brody Stevens actually lived in. It's
Really?
single mothers. We didn't know each other. He's a little bit older. He was older than me. And it was mostly single mothers and immigrants. And that's, I start to notice that I don't really like my mom. I'm about 5, 6 years old. I don't like her. I don't feel good around her.
Isn't it funny how early you feel it? I was the same way. I'm like,
You did too.
Yeah.
You never felt that she was maternal. Like I never wanted to. I wanted to touch her hair. She wouldn't let me because it was like a helmet of hairspray. You know, don't fucking touch my hair. And her nails were always like blood red and long and spiky. And she would put lemon juice in her hair. It was already bleached blonde, and then lemon juice, and then she would tease it so it was extra. You know, like
would that make it lighter? Or something?
Lighter and then crispy. She liked her hair crispy. And she would tease it. And then she had a flaming red bush. My mother was a natural redhead. And she would, I was seeing her naked. She was always naked, getting ready in front of the mirror, putting her makeup on.
But is that also like, I hear you on the ughs, but are we just as Americans just so fucking rigid and prude? Because I hear a lot of like South America, and they're like, people walk around naked all the time in the house. Like,
it is a European thing, definitely. But then, but we're in America now, Jack. And like, you need to have a fucking awareness. I have a 3-year-old son now, and now I'm kind of like,
you don't fucking stand naked with your bush out in front of your kids, tease your hair. You don't do that? Where's that lemon? Give me that lemon. I'll put it on my bush hair and tease it up. Don't touch my bush.
Oh my God. Oh, it's the worst. And she had a douchebag. You ever hear Lenny Bruce talking about his mother's
hot water
douchebag?
bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmom had one. It looked like this though, like a rubber bag with a cord on it. Yeah, it would hang in her hallway closet. It smelled like mothballs.
Yeah. What was with the heavy douchebags back in the 80s? Like women's pussies were just this vile.
Is your pussy dehydrated? I mean, this thing's a good fucking 2-liter right here, Grandma.
Right? Like, why did she have to blast her pussy every week?
That's a lot of water blasted.
Yeah, like what's going on in there? And she would always tell me like, men don't like women with stinky pussy.
That's how she would say it? Stinky pussy. You're 5 years old.
Yeah, like I need to hear it. Oh, yeah. It starts at 5.
I'm going to go watch One Thing, Two Thing.
Yeah. And then
Thing 1 and Thing 2. God damn it. That's
please.
what it was.
And then she said, at night, you must let your vagina breathe.
So it's a vagina at night, but it's a pussy when men don't want to smell it.
Stinky pussy is, but you have to let your vagina breathe.
Vagina.
You don't wear underwear to bed. You wear your pajama, but no underwears. Like shit like but then slowly, like I said, it got.
But do you take that now? Do you take any
I don't
lessons?
sleep with panties. Are you
No
fucking
underwear?
kidding me?
No.
You got to let your vagina breathe, bro.
I'll let my daughter know that. I'm going to have that conversation with my daughter. She'll be at school telling people like, I'm going to let my vagina breathe at night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my vagina.
Your vagina.
Vagina.
I hate wearing underwear to bed. I think it's terrible, but like I said, she got more and more paranoid, and so much later, I found out when I was 34 years old that my mother was diagnosed. Well, she was undiagnosed. She had borderline personality disorder. And later it descended into schizophrenia. She was very paranoid and psychotic and crazy.
What made her finally go get checked out?
No, she never did. Boo-boo.
Oh, so how do you
They
know
never
that?
do. That's the problem with borderline. Most of the time, and I'm going to get a bunch of fucking emails from all the borderlines out there. They don't get treatment because they don't think they're doing anything to anyone else. So what happens is, so you asked about custody. The court automatically gave women custody, basically in the 80s. So I live with my mother 5 days a week, and then on the weekends with my dad. So I'm getting shuttled back and forth between one fucking lunatic to the other, right? It's crazy mom's house.
Yeah.
And then she'd get mad at me. You have too many socks in your drawers. Go live with your father. And she'd kick me out, and then I'd go live with my dad.
For too many socks.
Bullshit like that. But what was really happening is that my dad was partying and having a good time and not being a responsible parent. And she was resentful of it. And so she would justify kicking me out to like punish my dad with the, you know what I'm saying? Like make him take care of me kind of thing. So they were using me as like a pawn or whatever, which is super healthy, right? Like, don't you do that with your...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I threaten her and everything. Yeah,
you're supposed to abandon your children constantly.
Emotionally, physically, mentally, all that.
It's
great.
great.
Just let them go.
It's cool. And then I would like get kicked out by my mom, and then I'd live with my dad, which was no structure. I was Pippi Longstocking. There was no routine. I would eat Cupid's hot dogs for dinner and Carl's Jr. and, no brushing my teeth at night. There's no homework being done. And I'd call her and apologize like, Mom, I'm sorry, whatever I did. And she wouldn't answer my calls.
Because you wanted to go back?
Well, that's the fucked up part about
right,
that.
Yeah.
You don't know that the child will automatically make themselves the wrong one because God forbid your parent is bad. You can't even conceive of it.
Right, they're your hero.
Yeah, and you need them to survive.
Yeah.
So you're surviving. So that went on forever until I was 13, and then she remarries to an Indian guy who's a sociopathic criminal, and then
How do you? What do you mean? He's
dead. Thank God. What?
What do you mean?
I mean, so she wanted to get remarried when I was 13, and she put an ad in the Indian newspaper.
Nuh-uh.
She loved Indian men. Yeah.
Where's the Indian newspaper?
I don't know if it exists anymore.
It was here in the Valley, had an Indian newspaper?
San Fernando Valley. She put an ad. She said, buxom European
Buxom.
blonde woman.
With fresh pussy.
Yeah. The freshest pussy in the valley.
I mean, if you don't mind the smell of curry, you're going to love my pussy.
Paprika curry pussy. Get your life, bitch. This bitch was crazy. So she put a fucking ad. Okay, buxom European blonde woman seeks well-off Indian man for marriage.
Well hung or off?
Didn't even fucking matter, dude. She just wanted money because we were living in that apartment complex. Bitch was ready to get out.
The whole time you've been there in one place. Okay.
She's ready to get the fuck out. She's ready to move on up like the Jeffersons. Get her Mercedes, get her rock. So,
and all the while she's watching your dad live a Playboy lifestyle.
That's right. And he's off the Club Med. He's taking me to bars at night. When I'm living with him, I'm going to bars. I'm dancing with sailors on school nights and shit.
How old are you? Like 10?
Dancing to fucking White Lines, Vision, Dreams of Passion, whatever the fuck that shit is. I'm like, ding, 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 ding.
Dancing with sailors.
Sailors, bro. Sailors. Like, I'm fucking 3rd grade, bro, and I'm dressed like Madonna for school because he used to take me to the swap meet, my dad, and that's how I get all my school clothes. The fucking swap meet, bro. So it was like tube skirts. I wear like one dangly earring and like fake nails, lipstick like this to 3rd grade, homie. And then I go to the nightclub with my dad because he was like, why do I get a babysitter? Just come to the bar with me.
Yeah. He's frugal.
He's frugal as fuck, homie. And I mean, I'm dancing to shit that I don't even understand. Like Frankie, remember that song, Relax, Don't Do It? When you want to come.
Yeah. When you want to come. You're like, what? What? Give me another shot of Temple.
Extra cherries. Come. It's like about gay guys butt fucking.
And coming.
And cum. Spraying fucking ropes of cum.
Fucking sailors are all dancing with you and shit.
Please, that's just the iceberg.
God.
And then he takes me to Club Med, which is a French club. It started as a French swingers club.
Okay, that's what I want to ask, because that's what I've always heard. It's a swingers place.
It used to be. Now it's a
anymore.
family resort. But back in the day, homie, that's another one. Like here I am dancing and fucking, taking sips or whatever. But the craziest part is going to school the next morning after going to the nightclub and having to keep it a secret. Because I know in my little 3rd grade mind, if I tell like, hey, I was out at the fucking bar last night, I know that I'm going to get taken away or it's going to stop. The fun is going to stop.
It's just fear all the time.
Absolutely. And anxiety and never feeling
in between
safe.
the moments that you're actually having fun. Yeah.
Correct.
Which is
correct.
this much.
Which
yes.
is right. Because your parents are obviously you're supposed to feel safe and loved.
And they must know what they're doing.
They must, surely.
I talk about that all the time. Like there's a
Me
shift
too.
at some age where you just you finally look at some adult, whoever it is, and you're just like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. I'm 10 and I'm smarter than you. Because up until that moment, whatever age it is that hits you, you just think every adult knows everything about everything.
Yes.
Like I'm asking you a question. How come you can't answer that?
That's right.
Oh, and then you start realizing like, oh, my dad's friend's a fucking idiot.
They're all douchebag.
Yeah,
They're all scumfuck. Looking back, they were all fucking criminals and scumfucks. Anyway, I tell my fucking 3-year-old that. I go, you don't have to listen to everybody. You follow what's inside of here.
That's right.
Because the outside world, bro. Anyway, he's going to get the education from his mom.
That's my daughter's getting the street one right now.
That's what's up. I tell him shit all the time. Don't fucking listen to the outside world.
I tell her, you defend yourself. I can't.
Yes.
The teachers. I said, let me tell you something. I don't care what those teachers tell you. If anybody puts their hands on you, I say, you know the way you karate kick me and do all that shit, you do it to those kids.
Absolutely.
But I'll get in trouble. I go, no, you won't. I'll come there. She's like, you'll hit them. I'm like, I can't hit the kids, but if I could hit those little motherfuckers, I'd take my shots.
Right.
Believe me.
But you can.
You can put them in a sleeper hold. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But don't. I said, you don't ever hit first, but you hit last.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me about this no bullying pussy nonsense they're teaching kids now. No. Some kid fucks with you. You fuck him right back,
teach that
bro.
kid a fucking lesson.
That's right.
Yeah.
You think anyway. Okay.
I already have our boxing gloves.
Good for you.
I got my mitts. We do 1-2 combos and everything.
Love it.
Yeah.
2
We're in
years
there
old.
working.
Look
She
at
knows
her.
how to punch properly. She's never put it in her.
Fuck, I know, homie. That's
break
wrong.
those thumbs. She knows how to fight.
Okay, so where am I? Okay, dads and I. Anyway, she marries the stepdad who's a fucking criminal, and that's when stuff gets real fun. This guy is great, though. I actually really loved my stepdad. He was paternal. He and I got along really well.
Did he have children?
He has 3 daughters from his first marriage. So what we'll find out later is that he was using my mother for her credit. This is the 3rd or 4th woman he had done this to, where he would marry these women, take their credit, take their money, build up an illegal empire. He filed bankruptcy 3 times prior. And so we became millionaires. And it was awesome. I was like, we got money, bro. And she had a Benz, and she took her fucking Benz to the spa and showed her friends. Like,
Drive by your dad like, fuck you,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. And for a while, it was really fun until, his windshield got shot out on the freeway, or our lawn got set on fire.
What?
Shit
Someone
like that.
shot out his fuck.
Yeah, his windshield.
That's you have to be, you have to follow, you got to know where somebody is.
Right.
You got to follow them. You got to get up next to them. You got to have that. That's a lot of prep going into shooting somebody's windshield out.
It's a lot, bro.
Strategic.
Yeah, strategic. And then he would just shit like that. Like we go for ice cream, he and I, and then he'd stop on the way. And
I wouldn't go anywhere with him.
Oh no, he was great. He was really
I'd be
sweet.
scared I was going to be in a hail of bullets.
No, he would go, let's get pistachio ice cream. He was a big fat Indian guy. And I'm like, cool, dude, let's go down to the pharmacy, like Rite Aid, right? Mm-hmm. Or what the fucking shit was called, Thrifties back then.
Yeah, Thrifty.
Well, hold on. And he'd pop out of the car, and then he'd shiv a guy's tires in the parking lot, and then get back in. Like
You'd see that?
Hell yeah, dude. And some guy fucked him over, and he got some business dealing, and that's how it was in that house. I was like, this is crazy. So around 13, I'm losing my mind. I'm out of the house. Like I'm already in fucking staying at friends' houses and
have you ever home?
Cigarettes.
You said that the lawn, all that shit. Like, were you ever home when shit went down? Like people vandalizing or coming by?
No, I was gone. Like I literally would just live at my friend Shauna's house, or I would live at my friend Jenny's house. I was always out. I had a boyfriend. I'm fucking, I'm gone, bro.
You're not being watched.
No,
you're not.
No, I was in the streets.
Right.
I was free. I was a punker. I was a goth girl. I was in the nightclubs. I had a fucking fake ID, bro.
At what age?
15.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
And you're in the clubs?
Loved it.
Oh,
goth
my God.
clubs. I was seeing punk bands. I was just fucking putting a brick in it. It was so fun. It was good. I did acid. I was at Lollapalooza.
At 15?
Yeah.
I still haven't done acid.
Oh, you don't want to.
I don't want to.
It's too late now.
No, yeah.
Somehow I get into college. I get the fuck away. I'm 17. And then I study philosophy. And that's when I start to I have so much anxiety and depression. I'm fucked up. I just make bad decisions. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And then anyway, I get
I was looking at the time for you.
Yeah, I gotta go. Okay. So then I suffer through my 20s. I pick up stand-up. I become obsessed with work. I throw all my energy into becoming a comedian, becoming successful.
But what about philosophy helped you?
So this is the beginning of my journey of first, I think when you get out of a toxic family situation, the first moment you have is the realization that you're in the matrix, right?
When did you realize, we were talking about this, when did you realize, oh, my shit is fucked up? Like at what age? I know you say you had these memories, but when you went to, you said your friend Shauna.
Yeah,
was her home life different than yours or similar?
Is fucking American. They had tuna casserole.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, what
Two
the
parents
fuck is this? 2 parents
that loved each other. Did she have siblings?
Yeah, and they were lovely. And they're still to this day, they live in my neighborhood. I visit. They're lovely people. And they saved my life. My friend Jenny, I would go to her house. And they were lovely and they saved my life. There are these people along the way that just take mercy on you. And like, I'm so grateful.
That was for me too. I would go to people's
Yeah.
homes and I was like, oh my God. And they'd be like, you want Fruity Pebbles? And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but will your mom give me a hug? Can I just get a hug? You know, we're not getting that shit at home, you know? I don't really give a fuck about Fruity Pebbles and your sectional couch.
Oh.
Can somebody just, how about a high five around this fucking house?
I know.
Oh man, that's when I knew, like, oh, your mom doesn't throw shit at you and yell at you and tell you you're fucking stupid. This is kind of nice over here.
Yeah.
So you got that.
Before I go on, borderline personality disorder, for people who don't know, it's marked by an extreme fear of abandonment, because I know we mentioned it and you have to define it. They split, which means you're either all good or all bad. They don't see gray. Everything's in black and white.
And that jumps back and forth?
Yeah, so like, you're a piece of shit, I love you, you're the best. You're a piece of shit, I love you, you're the best. Kind of like stand-up. It feels kind of like that.
Yeah, it does.
What else is in the borderline?
Twitter. It feels a lot like
Feels
Twitter.
like Twitter, yeah. It's fucking garbage dump. They're very emotionally erratic, so you don't know who you're getting, and there's a lot of rage. And it can often be accompanied by alcoholism or overeating or gambling or...
Your dad, you said, was an alcoholic.
Alcoholic.
Your
Is
mom,
an
did she
alcoholic.
go and dive into substance or
Food.
anything like that?
Food, rage, anger, yeah. But no, she wasn't on drugs and stuff, which is surprising. But by the time... So you're asking me when I realized, 13, I had my first fucking meltdown. I was like... I remember I was home alone smoking a cigarette at 13. I was a latchkey kid, you know? And I was like, I'm all alone. I'm all alone in the world. And this is fucking crazy. And that was my moment of like, I gotta rely on me, dude. They're not gonna help. And then I just, I got into a good school. I was in public school. I failed out. And then they sent me.
You failed out of public school?
Yeah.
Why?
I lost my by the time I was 14, I was off the rails. I was angry. I was anxious. I was depressed. I was confused. It's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
So my parents, I begged them to put me in a mental hospital, and instead they sent me to Catholic school.
I mean, not that different.
Not that different.
It's the same thing, but with a book.
And I loved it. I loved the discipline. I loved the structure.
I'll bet. I mean, that totally makes sense to me, because I wouldn't go to Catholic school, but we did go to CCD.
That
was Sunday school.
Yes.
So I would go school Monday through Friday, and then we always had, and that was all the way through. Yeah, I even did that because I knew my grandmother was very big into it. It was important to her. But I did baptism, communion, and then all the way through confirmation.
Oh my gosh! So
Did
you're
you get
full.
confirmed?
No,
Yeah.
stop doing that.
I'm saying, like, I don't go that way now. Like, I don't support the Catholic Church for.
Yeah.
Look, I get religion. I'm just saying, let's take all that other shit out of it.
Yeah,
All makes sense. The structure, the belief, the love, all that. But if it is real in the end, I got all the fucking paperwork. You know what I'm saying? I got all the credentials. I'm in. Like, who knew you just had to put time up front?
I know,
you know what I'm saying?
I
I put 12 years.
Yeah, I mean,
of my life in.
I didn't believe in the teachings of the Bible. I'm not saying that, but I loved the structure.
The lessons, I believe. You know what I mean? Like, I took away the right thing. Like, I get
morals,
it.
and I
Yes.
also liked wearing a uniform. I liked that it was all girls. I felt safe. I felt I just loved the structure. Get there,
it makes
do your
total
thing.
sense to me.
And I found that I liked reading, and that was my salvation, was learning and reading, because I could read well and I could always write well. I was a good communicator. That was my one talent. And so I got into college and I started reading and really thinking.
So did you do well in Catholic school?
Yes.
So once you got
enough.
structure and everything, you did
Good
better.
enough. Yep.
Yeah. And you wanted to be there.
Oh, I wanted to. And then I got into college and I thrived. I got straight A's. I never knew I was smart.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you
I was
are smart. But
well, I don't know anymore. But I got
where did you go to school?
University of San Francisco. Anyway, philosophy opened my mind, and especially the existentialists. I was reading Jean-Paul Sartre and Heidegger and these French thinkers, and they were saying things like, choice is everything. Free will. You're not basically. You can create your identity. You're not beholden to your gender, which at the time of the women's movement, blah blah blah, or your race or whatever. And I thought, oh, that's a revolutionary idea. What do you mean? And then I would just do deep dives on all these great thinkers, and it kept me occupied. And I was depressed and anxious. And then I graduate college, and I had 22 jobs in 4 years that I got fired from or quit.
Did you really?
Yeah.
22 in 4 years?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know. It's a fucking idiot. But I had this great boss who said to me, he goes, you're not cut out for this job.
Any of these.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes.
This work thing?
Yeah, it's not for you, sister. I was like, I know, I'm a fucking weirdo. Let's talk about Heidegger.
Why would you get fired?
I didn't believe in it because I saw the Matrix. Studying philosophy for 4 years, you realize that this is all a fucking bullshit structure. The boundaries of reality, it's not real. This is all a construct. Why am I going to work hard to make this asshole money?
Right.
Fuck the system. And
so it was more about that
around.
and not the people that drove you nuts?
No, it's just the system. Why am I going to work to make someone well? Fuck you.
What kind of jobs were you doing?
You name it, bro. I've done it. I've been a parking lot attendant. I've fucking been a waitress. I've been a cocktail server. I worked in a cannery.
You lifeguard?
No, that's the one thing. Have you done that?
I have, yeah. At a motel.
Oh,
bro.
Oh, no.
I went and...
No, that's
I
nasty.
actually went and got
Do they have lifeguards in motels?
This was I went and got my lifeguard certification from the YMCA.
Wow.
And I ended up just looking for a weekend gig. Well, I found this. A friend of mine had done it before, and he's like, I can't do it anymore. And I was like, yeah. So it was Saturday and Sunday.
Perfect.
And it was just sit by this motel pool. It's called the Forest Motel. It was on Route 40 in Maryland. It was right across from this place called the Enchanted Forest, which our kids would love today. It was like all those Hansel and Gretel and all that shit. It was like a little, little rides and stuff in there, but it always burned down. I was like, there must be some kind of insurance thing. It's always burning down. Someone's hiding something in there. But I used to just sit there, and it was a motel, and it was probably, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 rooms. All, just like this in a U, doors just coming right out in the parking lot. And the pool was shaped like a tree because it was pine trees all around the Forest Motel.
Romantic.
And I just remember I would just do push-ups and shit. There would be no one coming, learn how to check the water, do all that. There'd be one or two people. And the one time some people came, I fell asleep. I had my sunglasses on, thank God. And I wake up to a splash and their baby's in the pool. And I pop up, but the dad was already on it. And I was like, I don't even know what was going on. I was like, everything all right? He's like, yeah, I was like, okay, I'll be over here watching. He's like, why you got the skimmer? I was like, I didn't know. I thought maybe I could help your baby. He's like, can you swim? I'm like, I can doggy paddle.
You're the worst lifeguard ever. That was your one job, is not fall asleep, you piece of shit.
It was hard. That fucking test was hard. For me, It was hard because it was an Olympic pool. So they did this thing. I've mentioned this before a while ago, but in order to pass and you don't know this, so you do the whole fucking training, and then on the last day of class, you come in, and they tell the guys to go to the men's locker room and the girls go to the women's locker room. They've never done this before. Separating everyone, and they start calling people out one by one, and none of us know what the fuck is going on. And then when you get out there, they go, here's the scenario. You've been hired to work at a community pool. You're there to open up. There's a dead body floating in the pool.
Oh, my God.
What do you do?
Oh, my God.
Okay. So that's the guy. There was a man and a woman that taught us this
Jesus
class. So the
fucking
woman's
Christ.
floating face down in the pool is oh
my God.
And they teach you that when someone is drowning or face down like that, you reach out. You make sure, first of all, you keep them a safe distance, because a drowning person's going to panic. They're going to grab you. You're both going to go down. So they actually teach you that if that happens,
Ooh, what a metaphor.
they teach you to kick them away. And then you just tread water and you let them start drowning, because then you can get them. And unfortunately, you have to let them do that before they can control themselves.
And isn't that an interesting metaphor for what we're talking about now? Extracting yourself from a toxic family.
Well, wait to hear how the metaphor continues. So I enter the pool, and her arms are floating like this. So they teach you to grab the arm, and sort of like a dance, you spin them and you pull them in under your arm, and then you're going to swim away. And when I go to grab her arm, she jumps up like fucking Jason Voorhees and attacks me. And what you don't know is that if you don't get out of this, you fail the entire class. Your whole class rides on escaping this person who's panicking, because that's what someone will really do. My argument is like, this bitch has been in the pool since 8 p.m. last night. She's not fucking jumping up on me at 10 a.m.
No.
She's fucking dead.
Yeah.
There's flies and she's blue.
She's dead.
I've assessed the situation.
Yeah.
And I know because I got the skimmer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just pushed her over to the side.
The skimmer.
But she fucking grabbed me, and I panicked. I've been in a lot of fights, a lot of self-protection, and I threw a fucking uppercut, just a quick one, because she's just and I just went, popped her right on the jaw, bloodied her lip, spun her ass, or like while she was stunned, I spun her around real quick and swam to the side. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And they explained it to me. And she's like, oh my God, you punched my jaw and hit my lip. And I was like, why, you know, but she was totally cool with it. She scared the fuck out of me. And I just sort of like palmed up, you know. But I passed that fucking class.
You passed?
Yeah, of course. I saved
broke her jaw. You didn't
break
save
it.
her?
I mean, I popped it. It was I would never strike a woman, but
please do not save me. Let me fucking drown.
I did give her a little teeth clap.
God.
Like that. You know, I was like, I heard the porcelain. And then I saw a little blood on the lip, and I was like, I'm gonna save this bitch.
Oh my God.
You know, and I'm gonna open the pool for everybody. Okay, we're not gonna ruin this whole weekend for the community because this crazy bitch. And I pulled Jason Voorhees' mom to the side, and the guy was dying laughing. She eventually started laughing after she was like, God, what the fuck? And I was like, what the fuck? You're dead floating in a pool. I thought I was extracting a dead body. Anyway.
What a fucking...
My lifeguard license.
You're a terrible lifeguard.
I was terrible.
Yeah. Please don't do that. Ever.
2 summers though. But
Ever.
I have taught
They let you come back after the... Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you back.
If I survived a Friday the 13th situation, it's the best lifeguard you could have at your pool.
But again, what a great metaphor, because when you do realize that your family is a fucking shitbird family, you know, they call them black sheeps of the family. Those are usually the people that realize that everyone else is fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's when you try to get out. And it's messy and it's dirty and like...
But you don't have siblings, right?
I have stepsisters.
Okay.
But
there was no one in the house with you at the time that you could talk to.
No, that's the problem. So that's the problem. Is I'm alone my whole childhood was just spent fucking hiding from my parents, which you know, I would read books and listen to records, and that's how I got creative, I think, is being alone all the time.
Yeah. Grounded a lot for me. I would listen to comedy and music.
Right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
It was great actually, because I didn't want to be around them. Mm-hmm. Fucking listen to my cool stories and get weird alone. Yeah, I think the hardest part is when you get out is expect the fucking hate from the people that raised you and the people around, like my family, because I don't talk to my dad right now because he's an active alcoholic and he's fucking crazy.
Active, like he plays tennis and shit, or...
Actually, yes.
He's an active alcoholic.
He's an active alcoholic. It's different than sedentary. But it's crazy because he's in really good shape. Like, he's skinny. I mean, he's like a cockroach. He's got like Josh Potter DNA too.
Yeah, stay around forever.
You're like, how the fuck is this guy alive?
This guy's 112 years old.
I know.
Right here, he's jumping rope.
I know. Yeah. So, but of course, I've got family that's just like that. Christina, ungrateful daughter.
Right now, you're too good.
She thinks she's cool.
You're the shit. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
She thinks she's special.
Fuck's the matter with her trying to help herself. All this abuse we put in over the years wasn't good enough for you.
That's the truth of it.
Yeah.
That's how they see
Fuck's
it.
wrong with you?
Yeah, you don't want
you know how bad my hand hurt after I used to whip your ass? That's love, girl. Right. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Right.
Broke 3 belts on your ass.
Right. Well, and here's the mind trip is that when you start the process of extracting yourself, like you do feel guilty and you start to think thoughts like, gosh, am I a bad daughter? Am I a bad person?
Right, yeah.
But then once you have children, you're like, there's no way I'm going to put my kids in the line of this fire. You can fuck me fuck my ass. I don't care. But you fuck with my kids, bro? No way. Shit's not going to happen.
Nope.
It's not even it's not happening, bro.
But also all of that, like, here's the thing that's really fucked up that I find is that we wouldn't be who we are if not for that.
I hate that. Can
It's
I tell you something?
Though.
I know, and I'll tell you
true.
what. I would trade a great childhood for who I am today. I would. I don't think it's that great. I'm not that great.
I'm sitting here I'm debating it. Like,
wouldn't you love a nice mommy?
I could be home sleeping right now. You know what? Yeah, I could. Yeah.
I don't know. But I do think I have cultivated more empathy for people. And I think it's made me a better comedian. What the fuck ever it made me. Yeah, whatever.
Over the years, it's made me, like doing the self-work, the therapy, it's made me less reactionary.
Yeah.
Because I used to be immediately like, well, fuck that then. Yeah, you know, like, because that's how I learned to argue that way.
Right.
That's what people don't realize is like, why do you argue like that? Well, this was imprinted in me. This is what I learned from the adult that was in my life.
Right,
like I learned
right.
that's how you fucking argue. That's how you.
What a nightmare. Yeah.
You know,
it's all learned and then you have to unlearn it.
Unlearn. First, you have to learn what the fuck that you learned. You don't even know you learned it. It's just in you. It's like
imprinted.
almost it's innate. And then you have to be like, oh yeah, oh I was taught. Oh yeah, and you're not supposed to do that. All right, now we got to figure out how to fix that. So it's defining the problem first, and then working on fixing that problem after that.
Oh my God,
man! And you really have to give a shit about yourself to do that, because so many other people just want to point the finger all the time, never want to work on themselves, never want to see that they're part of the problem. And I say all the time, if you're telling me about these 10 situations, what's the one common denominator in all of them?
I know.
You are the common denominator in every one of those. So also put some time in on yourself.
100%. And you can't change other people. There's always that saying, right? You can't control other people. You can only fix your mind.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, okay, so philosophy is the beginning that helped me. And then I had a fucking mental breakdown around 34.
You did?
I did. Well, because my mom was still alive, and she called me one time. This is how I got in therapy. I was with Tommy at the time. She calls me. She goes, "Hi, Christina. I'm in the hospital." She goes, "I had a stroke." And so Tommy and I go down to the hospital to visit her. And I go, "My mother had a stroke," to the doctor. I said, "Tell me, doctor, what happened?" He goes, "No, she didn't have a stroke. She fell down at Lamps R Us and she passed out. She passed out and fell down at Lamps R Us from dehydration or something." And I just got so...
Could have been from all the light.
Fucking... I don't know.
I've been to Lamps R Us. It's bright in there. It's bright in there.
It's bright as fuck. And then she was just like, "I'm going to kill myself." And she was like just playing her fucking game with me, like manipulating me and all this shit. And I just I got so angry because here I have this wonderful man in my life, Tommy and I wasn't 34, I was 32. And I'm like, I'm not going to let her fuck this up for me. I have a good thing going. And that's when I got into therapy. And I've been with the same therapist for the last almost decade. And this woman saved my fucking
That's
life.
Great.
Yeah.
And do you go, how often do you go?
Well, Ryan, now I'm up to twice a week. Because since I had children, I've decided to up my game so that I don't pass down any weird shit to them, which is kind of inevitable, but I'm trying. And I feel if I could send any message to anybody listening to this, go and get your ass into therapy. If you're anxious, if you're depressed, if you're making the same mistakes in your life and you're like, what am I doing? And here's the deal. It's like dating with a therapist.
Oh my God. You just said it. It is.
You have to find the right one. I saw a few nutbags before I
too.
found this woman that transformed my life. Mm-hmm. So don't think like, oh, I went to one time and this guy said that. Fuck him. Go find another one, bro. There's a million therapists.
Same
don't
with
give
doctors.
Up.
Same with doctors.
Yeah.
Find a good doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stick with it
But
and invest in yourself. Don't give up. And it sucks. People say, "Oh, I went to therapy. No, I'm more depressed than I was before." Well, yeah, it's a process, dipshit. You got to get sad. You got to go dig. You got to go back to the wounds and clean out the wounds. So now you've got clean
You don't
wounds.
even know the fuck. Then you'll be talking one day and be like, "Oh my God, I forgot about this." I'm like,
100%.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. I think we're going to wrap. I know we're only 10 minutes in, but can we wrap today and come back and process that? Go ahead and bill me for the full session.
Right, because you're always going to have your wounds, but now they're not active. They're not pulsating and fucking with you. And what that does is mess up your current decision. You're always triggered,
Always.
That's the problem. If you don't go to therapy, now one little thing becomes a big thing and you have a hard time with your relationships and your career, and it's a big chain reaction.
I mean, I'm 46. I was 45 last year. I really decided.
God, you're so fucking old.
I know you believe it. You believe how much older Tom is than me,
No,
though?
I know he looks older.
Oh, God, 66. I trying to figure out how to say this. I don't really know.
Just say it.
I can't figure out how to say this. At 45, I realized, not to be like, I can't remember who originally said it, but I see it from Bruce Lee, be like water. So he talks about, and I don't know if it's Confucius or who really fucking said it, but water can freeze, water can flow, water can crash. You pour water in a cup, it becomes the cup. It just be like water. So I really took that to heart last year, and I was like, okay, and every situation that came to me, every one of them, no matter if it pissed me off instantly, I just waited. I smoked a little weed. I waited, and I was like, okay, what can we do to fix this? And I talked about going to, I hit Rogan up and said, hey, you talk about these flotation tanks. He recommended one. I go, and I was like, all right, my strategy in there was to think about the negative things in my life and then work on how, while I'm floating, work on how to solve them, or a strategy to solve them. And I was telling him about this, and I was like, there were only like 4 or 5 things. The positive was way outweighed the negative. But why am I focused on this little fucking chunk right here? But this little chunk used to wreck me. That's all I would focus on. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, man, all these things are manageable. And honestly, if you just fucking chill out, they'll probably take care of themselves in a way that you're not going to have to fucking deal with it. Let it happen. And ever since I've been doing that, things have worked so much better. I'm not as stressed out.
It's great.
You know, I don't fucking freak out. Like, you know, somebody says something to me and I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out how to figure that out then. You know, all right, well, that's happening. Then let's just not panic and let's figure out what the fuck we can do with it.
Right.
But that's all from therapy. Because before it just used to be, let me just yell at the problem. Just yell at it.
Right. Because you realize in therapy, like when you get that reaction, like I always know that it's a past wound, right? Because you're not reacting to something today.
No.
Someone says something to you and you when you get a big reaction, like, fuck that motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking go over there on my shit. And you're like, whoa, bro, that's not today. That's because
that's
so
when you were
and so.
7. Yeah.
And someone said that to me when I was a little kid and it pissed me off and I couldn't defend myself. And now I'm a grown up and I'm gonna show you da 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 da. Like what you're saying about not reacting, like when I feel myself get all keyed up, I know. I go, stop. Don't send that email. Don't send the text.
I can't say I got some just harsh shit written in my drafts. I got some harsh shit written in my drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggies.
Yeah.
But
that's what one of the therapists told me to do. She goes, you should feel that way. It's okay to feel that way.
Right.
You don't need to convey it. You don't need to say that.
Right.
Just put it in an email or write it down. Get it out of your system and then throw it away if you want. And that's the other thing. I've gone back and read it 3 days later and I'm like still mad where I'm like, I could say this better. I could tell this person to go fuck off in a much more creative way. But then after a few more days, I'm like, I don't need to be sending this shit.
Yeah, you don't
know?
need to because...
And usually by then, some other shit has happened where I'm like, oh, that's kind of taken care of.
Well, most of the time, most people are acting out of their own selfish things. They're not thinking about you. Someone didn't say that to fuck right. Very seldom does someone deliberately come out to fuck you.
Right.
They're just doing their thing, and it happens to hook into what
triggers
your thing
you to
is.
like, this is the way my dad made me feel when he was running around with these ladies.
Yeah.
This is like...
this is my mom telling me, you know, whatever.
Keep
I'm not
my
good
pussy
at this.
clean.
This is me douching. Yeah. So... But that's the and then okay, so then let's take it a step further, and then you have children. And man, I thought I had been therapized. I thought I had done my time. And then those little ones come and man, and now you're reliving your childhood stuff.
Oh man.
All over again.
But also what I'm also trying to do with that situation is not overcorrect.
Nah, that's where I'm struggling.
Right?
Because I tend to go over. Yeah, I'm working on that now. It's getting a little easier.
I was telling you this story about a friend of mine who it's been a weird 2019 with Brody, and then a friend of mine just passed from cancer. His name was Shad, and he was supposed to have a little more time than he did. I went to see him, and 9 days later, he's gone. And I was giving Stella a bath, and she was like, Dad, I want to shampoo my hair again. And I'm like, just come on, we got to get out. We got a lot to do. We still have teeth brush. We still have story time. We got to put the pajamas on. We got to get in bed. But Dad, I want to shampoo my hair again. I'm like, come on, we got to go. I'm like, all right, fine. If you want to shampoo your, because I believe in compromise and like, you know, working things out, not just like, because one of the things I've promised myself is I was never going to say because I said so.
Yeah.
I was going to, even if you didn't understand what the fuck I was saying, I was going to tell you why.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share that reason with you. I'm not going to pull a power trip on you.
Yeah.
Because I hate it.
I
That made me fucking hate, like,
I agree.
What is going on?
I mean, why can't you just tell the kid, we got to go because we have to go to school or we have to keep
And then
on.
let me say I don't want to go to school, but at least I know why the fuck we're doing this.
I said so.
Yeah, right.
Okay, caveman.
So,
I know, it's the worst.
She's like, but I want to shampoo my. I'm like, well, you don't need to waste shampoo. Like, what about, we'll kill story time, then you can shampoo your hair. But I want to do both. And then I just started thinking about Shad and not him never being able to see his kid or anything again. And I was like, pick your fucking battles. And I got all emotional. I was like, go ahead and shampoo your hair. Lather it up. I was pumping that shit in her hair. She's like, Dad, stop. My eyes are burning. Put your goggles on. You can stay in another 30 minutes. I'll get you a scuba tank.
I know.
Yeah.
But isn't that what you realize? That's the gift of children is you. First of all, I didn't even know people enjoyed their children.
That is the truth, right? That's the truth.
I thought
I like taking these guys with me. You do?
Yeah.
You don't beat them from the front seat while you drive? You don't burn them with cigarettes and shit while they're back there?
Right. I mean, and I'm being serious. Like, I thought that children were a burden and like, because my parents always made it feel that way. Like, oh God, I fucking take you to school. I got to make you dinner.
Right.
And I'm like, oh wow, this is really fun. Now I know why people do this. Like, this is magic. And like you're saying, I find myself getting rigid too with my kid. Like, time to go in. We got to go in. We got to have dinner. It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
And then you're like, well, no. What if we stayed outside 5 minutes longer? And
what's it going to hurt?
Blew dandelions for 5 more fucking minutes because he's only going to be 3 years old for a few more months.
I just picked Stella up the other day. I go, let me pick you up again. I said, it's coming where I'm not going to be able to keep doing this. So let me get a couple of these carries. I don't mind at all.
I don't mind at all. And
I love that shit.
And I like them making messes because that's something. Like, if you went into my parents' houses growing up, I don't think you would know that a child lived there.
Oh, that museum shit?
Yeah.
No, you can't live like that.
No, and I don't give a fuck. Fuck it up, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's what this is for. You want flour? Put flour on the floor. I don't give a fuck.
I have a video of Stella taking prunes. And I mean, I just went to the bathroom and I came back and she's just rubbing them on her arms. I just showed it to her the other night. I go, what are you doing? She's like, it's lotion. I'm like, it's not lotion. They're prunes. I was like, oh my God, you're going to fucking shit all over her chest. And she's like, it's lotion. And I was like, I just got the video camera out. I was like, keep doing it. Because I know we're going to be able to look at that one day. I'm like, I was a single dad by myself. And this is the kind of shit you're doing. Yeah. And I'm back there trying to get, your bed ready and shit. Yeah. I don't have anybody to help me do that stuff.
Right. And I'm alone too a lot with my kids because Tommy travels. We both travel. But I always tell people like the best toy for my son, my 3-year-old, is a can of shaving cream or like the hose. That's the big fucking toy. That's the big excitement. And you just let them do it.
Bubbles.
The joy. Yeah. And the joy in their face. And you're like, oh. And on the one hand, you're so thrilled that you're giving that to them. And then on the other hand, you're like, oh, I didn't get that. Like, that's what I didn't get. And then I think that's the struggle with parenthood, But
do you also enjoy that? Because even though you didn't get it as a kid, you're still getting it now. So you get to do it. Well, it's so much better. Like, also, God, if life would be so much easier if they go, look, you're not going to get this shit right now, but wait till you're a mom. You're going to get to do that with your kid. Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, all right, I don't need this motherfucking bubble bath then. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I know your mom passed.
Yeah, she died 4 years ago.
So did you get to talk? Did you have any sort of goodbye? Did you have any sort of reconnection? How did that go?
So this is where it gets really ugly and really ooky.
It's been beautiful so far. It's been great so far. Oh, this has been one of the most uplifting episodes I've done.
Oh no, is this a bummer?
No, not at all.
Oh fuck. Anyways, okay, so she dies 2015, and I had gone.
What did she die of?
Okay, so she had cancer twice, lymphoma, and then it was the second time around she had it, and plus she was crazy. She was schizophrenic, and they don't live very long. Your body just gets broken down from mental illness. Only in like 69 or 68.
Because I have a cousin who's paranoid schizophrenic. He's probably right now, late
what is
60s.
That? Oh, well,
that age range.
He made it pretty far. But borderlines usually commit suicide or they die from overdoses and such. They don't live very long. So anyway, I cut off communication with her 8 years prior to her death because I was getting healthy. I was in therapy and I was having children and,
And you wouldn't see her at all? Or you would check in or?
Okay. So here's where I had to cut contact because her psychosis, she would start emailing me crazy emails like Hillary Clinton has the same things I do. You should know.
The Hillary Clinton I've eaten her ass?
No, that's a
Different Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
I still fucking get
Hillary
messages.
that was you.
Yeah,
did
you
it.
guys did that. One day I randomly opened Twitter and it's just bombardment of, hey, did you really eat
You did. You ate Hillary
Clinton's asshole? I still get them. I still get
Well,
those.
good. It was a crazy video. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
So my mom would she would send letters to the clubs I was working at, like in Kansas City, like the Improv. One time, right before I went up on stage, and it was just gibberish, like nonsense. The windows,
like for them to pass on to you.
Yeah, like it would be a
You're just trying to be a comedian, and she's hitting the clubs up and shit.
Like,
already walking into that.
Yeah. So it would break me down. Like I get a letter like that and I would just be shredded for like days,
right before you're about to do your
yeah.
weekend.
Right. And I'd be in a hotel room with my therapist, just like, my fucking mother, will this end? When will this torture end? Because it breaks you down, over the years.
It's interesting that you say that because I am
Nightmare.
thankful that the one thing my mom did once we split was left me alone.
Oh, that's such a blessing.
She left me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a help, not the back and forth.
Right. Well, so my mother, I get the phone call that she passed, and I was waiting for that phone call because I knew she was slowly breaking down over the years. And yes, I'd kept tabs on her through my stepdad, who had kept contact with her.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And also
from prison or?
No, he wasn't in jail yet.
Oh, he got
no,
out?
He's fine. Yeah.
Oh, good.
No, he
Good.
went to court a few times, but he never got put away. And,
but would you, so when you would get these letters at the clubs and stuff, would you reach out and respond or
No, it was too upsetting.
Just process
it was too upsetting. And I went to go see her when she was sick before we cut ties, and she kicked me out and she told me I was a horrible daughter and, did her whole deal. You are a terrible daughter. She kicked me out basically. And, so that was the last time I spoke with her, and then I get the call that she passed, and I was in Canada actually at the time.
How long from the time you spoke till she passed?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years. And so I landed at Montreal Comedy Festival. I was 5 months pregnant, and Tom was there, and he goes, "I have something to tell you." And I thought he was joking. I thought he was gonna say something stupid, like he farted, and he's like,
like the standard.
Yeah, the standard shit. He's like, "I farted. It was big." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." And he tells me my mom died. And
how did he know?
So my mother had kept journals and weird things, and in it was my manager's phone number. I don't know, like I had the same phone number for 15 years. She could have just written mine. And they contacted my manager. My manager reached out to my husband and was like, "Hey, you got to tell her this. I don't want it to come from me.
Right.
It should come from you." And then I was at Montreal. And I was like, you know what? I'm already here. All my friends are here. My family, my husband's here. I'm just going to stay the week because her body is still going to be fucking dead by the time I get back.
It's dead.
Sorry, she's already dead.
Yeah, she's dead.
She's dead.
She'll be dead in 3 days.
She'll still be dead in 3 days. Yeah, let me finish this festival.
But by the way, if she's not, somebody hit me to fuck up because I can't stand that bitch.
Right. So no, the short answer is no, we did not make amends. But here's the deal, man. And here's what I tell people. If you've got a parent who is not sharing the same reality as you, she was psychotic. She was writing notes in her journals about dogs she had seen that day. Blue dog, green dog. She was highlighting instruction manuals for microwaves. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no way to reconcile. Right. So when people say, like they ask me this question, which is a very normal question, the problem is when you're dealing with somebody who's so far gone, there was never a way.
And she, I'm guessing, progressed worse over the years.
She was a complete shut-in by the time she had died. When I cleaned out her apartment, it was like a time capsule, like it was just whatever. So yeah, the only amends I can make is like going to therapy, grieving her, grieving the mom I never had, the dad I never
grieving
had. That's
you.
all you can do. Grieving me, the childhood
that's
stuff.
That's right, yes.
And that's it. And that's all she wrote.
And not being a bitch about it for yourself. And that's the thing about this show is like everyone that's come on here is someone who's figured out a way to deal with it, be successful in whatever field they are in, whether, personally, whatever, and find humor in that. That's the thing, because that's what separates us is we'll laugh at it eventually. And again, your past doesn't have to define you. No.
And I hate, it makes me sad when I see people in it and I'm like, you can get out. I swear you can get out. There's a way. You just got to get into therapy.
How old are you, 25? Oh man, hang in there for 15 more motherfucking years, bro.
I know.
It's coming, man.
It's coming. And I promise you, if you try, if you stay with it, you can get free and you can have a happy, good life. Don't let your childhood fuck up the rest of your life. They took the first 18 years from you. Don't let them take your life.
You got the rest of your fucking life
Yes.
to fix that shit and work on that shit.
And make your children's lives better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck them.
And see, the thing too for us is like people ask me, are you ever going to tell? I told my mom, like, no matter how great you are, I told her, like, this is an opportunity for you. Like, that your child is gone. Your son's not gone, but that little kid is gone. You don't get what I get with my daughter now. That shit's, you didn't want it. But what this is an opportunity for you to be a great grandmother to your granddaughter.
If she can, if she's capable.
And I said, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to defend it. If you hurt her, you're going to hurt her. And I'm going to be honest with her about that. So there's no, hiding who you were to me. At some point, my daughter will listen to these episodes and hear all this shit, just like your kids are going to eventually listen. They're going to. They're definitely going to be like, Mom, you remember on episode 19 when you said you queefed 9 times? Like, I don't remember that. I said that? Yeah, you said that.
Oh, for God's sake.
But all the drugs we've done, all the sex, all the whatever, the fuck up stuff, it's all out there. So I told her, there's no shielding you from that.
Right.
But the best you can do is when my daughter is older and to be like, wow, that's not the grandmom I knew at all. And I'm surprised to even hear that. I go, that's the best you can fucking do for her.
That would be great.
So I'm, and also it took a lot of maturity, but I realized like my daughter's relationship with her grandmother it's got nothing to do with me.
It could be totally different.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with me.
It could be totally different. And I hope it is.
Yeah. And I hope yours is for your kids. Your kids are going to grow up so fucking, you got two fucking hilarious, crazy people.
They're the best.
Raising them.
They're the best.
I'm talking
My
about
husband's
you
the
and
best. Oh. Yeah, that too. Anyways.
Your kids are great.
I got to pee really bad.
Yeah, well, thank you so much
thank you
for doing
me.
this. Do you want to plug anything else before you go
I'm
pee?
just going to plug my anus and just let everybody know that...
Well, I love you. I'm
you.
super honored and stoked to be a part of all of this that you've created here. It's nice to finally be allowed in my mom's house.
No, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here.
There was a time where my mom told people not to let me know where she lived. So I appreciate you
That's
guys.
That's going to be your episode with Tom.
All right.
I gotta pee.
I am Ryan Sickler on all social media, ryansickler.com. We'll talk to y'all next week.